1976, oil was discovered here in Pico Canyon, and Charles Mentry was the one that discovered it. So he created a little company town called Mentryville, which is where we're standing. Mentryville became a booming oil town, and Charles Mentry was the man behind it. So with expert drillers coming from Pennsylvania, my home state, this became such a booming town that about 100 families moved in here, and it really became something of a legend. In the 1920s, the oil slowed down. Families started to leave Mentryville. In fact, they even tore down a lot of their houses and packed up their houses, the wood, and took the wood with them to build new houses in other towns. But there was some structures that remained. There was a dance hall here, but the schoolhouse remained, obviously, and the big house, or the Pico cottage, remained. There was a bakery way at the end, and that remained for a number of years. There was a barn, few very small structures, but a lot of it is gone, and henceforth, we have a ghost town. Well, the history of Mentryville is great, and you can probably find it a few places. But what about all those urban legends? Well, let's talk about that for a second. Charles Mentry's father was 77 years old and lived on the property here. He took a walk one day up in these hills somewhere and told his dad he was going to maybe walk to Newhall, which is pretty far. He was 77 years old at the time, and he never returned. So they finally put out a missing persons. They scoured these hills for 2 or 3 months, and they never found him. So they just assumed that somehow he passed away coming up through these mountains somehow. Well, 12 years later, a hunter who was running around shooting quail ran across a skeleton, and they found some of the clothing, and they were able to match the clothing, and the coroner determined between him and the family that it was in fact Peter Mentry, the 77-year-old man that had disappeared 12 years earlier. Does Peter Mentry haunt these hills? It's hard to say.
No, you go back. Out. Come on here.
Today is a very special day because just everything came together in a perfect way. We got Evan over here who's going to take us through some of the structures most people don't get to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Introduce yourself.
So I'm Evan Decker. I am the president of Mentryville, California Incorporated, which is the nonprofit that's working tirelessly to restore historic Mentryville, and I'm also a history major at COC. So yeah, this is Mentryville, as you can see over here. So,
and we got Lauren from who you may have known from some of my other videos. She's fairly sensitive, so I don't say offensive things to her. No, not that kind of sensitive. The kind that you experience psychic phenomenon.
Psychic phenomenon.
We also have Lucy and Jude along, and
I'm Cassidy. Hi.
Cassidy. That's an awesome name.
I'm Rylan. Hello. I'm Rylan. Hello.
And that's Lauren's boy. All right, so we're gonna.
And I'm the god of Egypt.
And that's of course Lucy.
My birthday.
Introduce yourself, Lucy.
Is from 1896, and what's really neat about it is all original. Now, unfortunately, in the '94 earthquake, it was heavily damaged, which I have pictures in here of that. And the porch came down actually. So the porch that we're on was rebuilt about 20 years ago, but it is of the original porch. So if you look at an old picture of the house, and you know, it looks the same. So let's go. So right now we're in the Pico Cottage, or the Big House, which was built in 1896. And so you can see it kind of looks in bad shape, but that's the whole point. We're creating the nonprofit is to restore this place and open it up to the public for people like you guys to enjoy.
And of course, we have Lauren over here.
Hi.
Who's feeling all kinds of things.
Oh yeah. My spidey sense.
Spooky senses are tingling. Oh yeah, no, it actually, and unfortunately somebody screwed it in, so, but this goes up and down, so they're, you know.
Yeah, I love the butler's pantry.
It's the best. This is the China closet over here.
Okay, supposedly in this pantry, something happened. I don't know what.
We think was the China closet. And so this is where they kept all the fine, you know.
Oh, okay.
The night, yeah. And then that was the pie pantry or cold storage.
Right.
This is my favorite. I love that.
So it has the old pass
It's the pass-through.
And all the cabinetry in here is original from 1896. Considering, yes, it's in not the best shape, a lot of the architectural elements are still here. I mean, it was built with gas lights, plumbing. So the two bathrooms upstairs, those are original bathtubs, and the pink bathroom has the original sink in the corner. It was built as the superintendent's house for the Pico Canyon oil field, so a lot of famous people have been up here. Everybody from Senator Charles Felton. So many silent films have been done here. We have a clip of Roy Rogers in Trigger riding up to the house.
Oh, wow.
In 39. The house itself is about 4,000 square feet. Now, there have been paranormal investigations here in the past, and I've actually felt more in the Felton School, which is up the road a little bit, but I definitely get the sense that Mr. Mentry is still here, his spirit. He definitely keeps an eye on the place.
So, really nobody's been in here for a really long time. This is so cool. Yeah, I can sit right here by the toilet and not actually go to the toilet.
You got a nice view too. I mean.
Yeah.
Didn't they see a lady in the upstairs?
Oh yes,
room?
yeah,
They go in that room.
We think I've heard. What was the KHTS that they said it might have been one of the Blaney, Ethel Blaney, or
I think.
you know.
Yeah. I love the wallpaper. Look at that.
I know.
This room A lot of people have said they see a lady peering out.
Oh my god, my friend said she saw a fake. It's this window, my friend. I told you that.
really?
Yeah, that window.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's funny.
That's
that
the
you
window?
could-
That was
yeah,
the window. I was telling Lauren we were the night that I had the experience in the schoolhouse. Right before that, we were sitting at the bench, right there, and she looks up and sees a figure. It wasn't of a woman though. She said it was of a man.
Oh, I've heard a woman.
But I'm not surprised if there's other spirits here. But yeah, we've come to find out it was Jack Pilcher's son who was killed by accident. He was repairing the schoolhouse flagpole with and he had his tools all laid out, and he fell and was unfortunately impaled by his own tools.
Whose room was this in the original house?
We think this might have been, I want to say one of the Mentryville boys. I know that he had 3 sons and a daughter. So I would assume that bedroom was Daryl's room. It was Irene, the daughter's room.
It seems like sort of girl.
Yeah, well, I think Carol said that one of the daughters, her daughters, I think this was Suzette or Laurette's room.
Oh, okay. That would explain it.
So, yeah, because Carol, she had 3.
Right now, I'm the male figure in the room.
Now we're gonna get evil hiding too.
Yeah.
I saw a guy upstairs.
This is like, no, it was actually walled
Yeah.
when they worked on the house. So you can see actually, this might have been Lagasse, but
Yeah.
Oh, the height where the kids.
yeah.
That's so cute.
It was Nan, the oldest one, who passed away a couple years ago, the oldest daughter. I think she was same class as Daryl, 1968 heart. But I think they would come back and her husband, who's still living, would help and do tours and that sort of thing.
Can I walk, talk, and go down these old steps? Let's be careful. Anyway, this is pretty cool. I would live here. I don't know about you. I would live here. How about you? Leave it in the comments. I want to know if you would live here. This was called the Pico Cottage. And that's what we're standing in front of now. It's what we were just in. It's so peaceful back here. I love this little bench. Although it's creepy, this was the rose garden. Okay. I was just informed. Oh, there's actually another bench over there that's even creepier. I beg your pardon. I never promised you a creepy rose garden. A singer I am not. I'm a drummer.
So the road used to come right past here, and when the carriages would pull up, the women were in the big skirts, and the men, they could just step right off here, off of the carriage, and they didn't have to get their shoes dusty before they went into the house.
Wow. There's been a lot of mediums that have come on this property and have said that they feel a lot of paranormal activity. And one of the hot spots has been this schoolhouse right here. So guys, this is the schoolroom. This is the Felton School, and this was built in 1885, and it's just amazing that it's preserved.
At one point there was about 13 children.
13 children, 13 ghosts. But the only thing about it is that there's never been any reports of any students ever dying here. As a matter of fact, in 2001, there were 4 students that actually went to school here, got together, and they had done a photo years earlier when they were kids, and they did a photo here. However, Lauren Parker did turn up one thing that did happen here. Apparently, at one point in time, there actually was a death here at the schoolhouse, but not in the schoolhouse, but right here. A man was repairing this pole, doing some work to it of some kind, and fell and was impaled on his own tools that he had laying at the bottom down here. And so, turns out there was a death here at the school, kind of. Only a few feet away. What would you estimate? Maybe 20 feet? 20, 25 feet? But a man falling from a flagpole is not the only death around here. in 1974, there was a girl named Connie Marsh, and Connie was a student right over here at Cal Arts. It's a very prestigious art school. And she came up here to Mentryville, parked her car in Mentryville, went up into the canyon here so that she could do some oil painting of some of the landscape, which is absolutely beautiful, as you can see. And she never returned. Her 1971 blue Fiat was found along the side of the road 10 miles away from where she was discovered some months later. She disappeared in April, and she was not discovered until December, but only her skull was discovered. They weren't sure what to make of it at first, and then they realized that she had had blunt force to the head. A bunch of her friends produced some photos to the police, and one of the photos had her friends, and a guy that nobody recognized in the photo. And somebody made the comment, God, he looks an awful lot like Ted Bundy. But you know what? I don't have that photo, unfortunately. I've been trying to track it down. I would love to find it. Supposedly there's been 2 other bodies discovered up in here, and that's not unusual in terms of any area where it is close to a city, but it is far enough out where you could hide a body. Her body was discovered all the way in Texas Canyon. That's pretty far away. I've done videos about Texas Canyon, or Hangman's Canyon. A lizard. Well, then there is another phenomenon. The screaming beast of Pico Canyon. This is Pico Canyon that we're in right now. So supposedly there was this crazy sound like a woman being torn to shreds. And this screaming beast was reported by not only people that used to camp around here, but also by a police officer who was literally spooked out of this area. The only thing I have to say, this is a canyon, and it is California, and there are mountain lions. Mountain lions, when they mate, produce a shriek that is literally terrifying, and it does sound like a woman being ripped to shreds. In fact, I'm going to play a clip for you so you can hear it for yourself and tell me if you would think that this might be a beast in the hills. So a man named Dale Manser lived in this house, the big house, from 1960 to 1966. Really the only living kid that lived in this house. And if you can nail him down for a tour, please do so. I've never met him, but he really knows the history like nobody knows. So oddly enough, this haunted looking structure is one of the only not original structures. Actually, part of it is, this is a facade that was made for a movie, and it's attached to a garage that was an original structure. But this really isn't an original house here. My question is, who or what haunts Mentryville? Well, maybe they all do. I'm Rikki Rockett. This is Legend Tripping. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. Please subscribe, leave a like if you like this video, and ring the bell if you want to be reminded of more videos that I do like this.
We have a website that has a donation button, Mentryville, California, 1876.com. And we also have a Facebook, Mentryville, California Incorporated, or Mentryville, California Inc., and an Instagram, Mentryville, California Inc., and that's all one word. And take care and keep rock alive!